Potentially hot take. I actually prefer earbuds over headphones, especially when it comes to video editing. So I bought these, the Linsol Simgot EW200s, but I didn't buy them because of that. It was actually for some other reasons, which I'll be getting into in this video. But since I've bought these, I can say that I haven't used any other device while working on my videos. And yes, I did buy these. Just as a quick disclaimer, this company doesn't know I even exist. So the reason I'm making this video isn't because they want me to. It's because I use these every day, and there might be some reasons why you should too.
A few months ago, I was using those old Apple earpods, like the wired ones that people used to make fun of you for having once AirPods first came out. Now, I don't know, they could have been broken, but when I listened back to my mic audio on my phone speakers instead of the earbuds, it sounded so incredibly different.
To me, it was pretty alarming that audio sounded good on these when I was using them, but as soon as I listened to it on any other device, it sounded, well, awful, to be honest.
When I'm making a video, there's usually certain tech that associates with different steps throughout my entire...
I don't want to have to worry about cross-referencing my audio on 4 different devices just to make sure it sounds good. I want to be able to get the general idea of how my video will sound no matter what device it's played on. Almost like how for movies, the final audio mix is done sitting in a specific spot in a cinema, which is a place where it'll be experienced.
I wanted to make sure that I was mixing for the intended audience's viewing, or I guess listening experience. There's that saying that audio is 50% of a video, which I do agree with, so I think I needed something new. Like any other average, sane human being, I decided to do my research, which of course consisted of scrolling through TikTok comments under videos of best earbuds for editing. At this point, I was fully prepared to order a bunch and then try a bunch and inevitably return a bunch. But by the grace of the audio gods and that one guy in the TikTok comment section, I found the perfect fit, quite literally. I mean, if we learned anything, I think that just goes to show that people in TikTok comments never lie. They're always correct. Misinformation is not real. With that being said, this perfect recommendation was, of course, again, the Linsol Simgot EW200s, IEMs. They're technically not earbuds. So IEMs stand for in-ear monitors, and I think the main difference between that and earbuds is the way it just naturally seals off the background noise, which makes them a little bit more preferred when it comes to an alternative to headphones when working with audio. But I'll be getting a little deeper into that later. But one of the best parts of this is the price. I paid $35 for these, and I'm pretty sure I just checked. These are even cheaper on Amazon right now. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check them out. They do have a few options when it comes to buying them. You can get them with a mic or without a mic. I decided to go without a mic because I really only bought them for editing, and I wanted to save a few dollars, and it quite literally is a few dollars because of how cheap these already are. But at that price, they're only about $15 more expensive than the crappy Apple. They just fell off the table. But what I was saying is they're only about $15 more expensive than those crappy Apple earpods, I think they call them, that I threw over there. These ones. That's crazy to think that these are only $15 more expensive. I know you can't feel it through the screen, but this feels more expensive than 15 bucks more. And to be very clear, much like the audio from these, the relatively cheap price doesn't equal relatively cheap sounding audio. These are inexpensive and really high quality. Like, what else can you ask for that is reasonable, especially at the $35 price point? $31. And it's not just that these are like acceptable quality, it's that they're good. Like, it rivals my more expensive audio gear. As far as general user experience, there's not that much to mention, but there are 2 main cons that I've found. One is the slightly shorter cable. That was the perfect representation. If I put them side by side with the Apple earbuds, you can see that they're actually the same length. So this extends far beyond just this product. But on the headphones that I used to use, this cable is nice and long. And it's not even that the short ones are bad, it's just that the longer ones are better. Don't take that out of context. Like, there's been a time or two where I'd have to reach over to grab something, but the cable length is completely maxed out. So yeah, I have to take them out of my ear, put them down, grab what I need, and then put them back in. I know, poor me. I can't even say this as a joke. This is such a stretch to call it an issue. But with that being said, I still feel like that it's worth mentioning. But another pro of IEMs is that the cables are detachable. Naturally, that means you can replace the cable. And I believe that the same company that makes these Linsol, they sell the longer extensions themselves. So you'll know it's up to the same quality. And I do feel like that the included cable, and of course the silver plated design of the item themselves, It's a high build quality. Once it's actually in your hands, you can feel it. It's at least much better than this plasticky Apple earbud, which are getting thrown behind me once again. That's like the third time this video. The downside of that is I'm gonna have to get up and get that again. But yeah, with these, build quality's good, sound quality's good. And I'm sure part of the sound quality and the reason it's so good is how they're designed to sit in your ear. It gets in there nice and deep, and I mean, it feels like it's gonna stay in there, all while naturally blocking out the background noise. I wouldn't say that it's up to the same level of something like active noise cancellation with AirPods, but if you have both of them in, I can say that you probably won't hear me sneaking up behind you. And I mean, I do like the way how it kind of loops around your ear like that. It kind of reminds me of those Beats earbuds, but I do get that if that's not your thing comfort-wise, even I probably still prefer something like the AirPod Pro design. But regardless, for me, these are a great fit, and they do come with different sized rubber tips, so they will probably be a great fit for you. But I do feel like that I can wear these for forever pretty much, and they will never become uncomfortable, which kind of addressed another one of my issues with headphones. I swear, they were giving me like real jaw pain because I had them just clenched around my face for hours and hours and hours. I'm not gonna throw these behind me because these are quite expensive. With that being said though, I know not everyone will agree with that, but I'm team earbuds. They're simply more elite. Now, I did say I had two cons, so the other one is, again, a pretty small thing, but I find when I have them plugged into my MacBook specifically, the volume I have to drop to 1 bar. Otherwise, they're just so loud and they're actually just blowing out my ears. And I find that usually in something like Spotify or YouTube, I have to lower that even more in the app's volume control. So again, it's really not a big deal at all. I just would prefer to control it with the laptop's volume buttons. But if you know any setting that can help solve this, I would appreciate it if you can drop a comment. I am glad I didn't throw these over my couch because now I'm gonna be kind of talking about how they compare to the IEMs and also AirPods. These are the Barodynamic DT770 Pros, and out of any headphones I've ever used, these are by far the most comfortable. Even with that though, I still do prefer these IEMs. Now the sound on these are good, but I did find them to be kind of flat, which I'm sure is part of the reason why people buy it, because they're meant for professional audio mixing. But because of that, I ran into the same issues that I found with my old earbuds. It just sounds too far different than it does on normal devices. But I would consider that AirPods are a device that are more commonly found. These are the AirPod Pro 2nd generations. I've had these for a little over 2 years, and I honestly think I can count on 2 hands the amount of days I have not used these. I'm probably using them for like an hour at least every single day. That is quite a lot of Bluetooth radiation, but these sound good, so you know, it's worth it. I do think sound quality wise, these do sound similar to the IEMs, but I still think the AirPods have a slight edge on it, sounding a bit better. Part of this could just be due to the general balance of audio. What I was looking for in these IEMs were a nice neutral sound, not the most amazing, enjoyable sound. Having a reliable, neutral baseline sound is just really helpful when you're EQing audio or just mixing sound effects and music. You just kind of know what you hear is similar enough to what generally the audience will be hearing. But I do think AirPods are neutral enough for my needs, but the issue is because they're Bluetooth. And that means you get that super slight delay, and it becomes pretty noticeable when you're doing something like editing, which is the entire point of buying these in the first place. It is significant enough where it does annoy me because, trust me, I have tried to edit videos on these because of how much I love the sound. But it's just because that half-second delay when you're hitting pause and play in a timeline, which is something you're doing like thousands of times a video most likely. But of course, there are other benefits of having IEMs or headphones or earbuds or anything wired. You don't ever have to worry about charging batteries or pairing. But with these, you do miss out on something like active noise cancellation. But like I said, these do such a good job of just naturally sealing off the background noise. I would say what I do miss is transparency mode, which if you don't know, it just allows you to hear everything around you. Having background noise blocked off is probably just better for my focus generally. Unless if someone's trying to sneak up behind me, that is. So I do truly think that these IEMs are kind of the perfect mid-ground for common audio devices like phone, tablet, or laptop speakers, or even higher-end headphones, AirPod Pros, or even those $4 Walmart earbuds. This sounds like trash. You get it? Because the song's called Trash? The earbuds suck, to be clear. And again, when I'm using these, I'm confident that what I'm hearing is gonna be close to what most people listening are gonna be hearing too, all while still being very comfortable and having a good build quality. for the price of $35.
It's like how when I'm editing videos, I always try to cut as the viewer. If there's a part where I wouldn't want to watch it myself, I cut it. I think there's something so important about having the same perspective as a viewer when you're working on your videos. Whether you're writing ideas, making a thumbnail, or like what this video is about, editing audio, it's almost like the saying, treat others the way you want to be treated. You should edit audio to sound the way it'll be heard. Maybe I'm digging too deep, but I do feel like this makes a difference to the end product of my videos.
I even specifically wrote down that I was using these to listen to music while writing the sentence right here, and they sound great. So past Carter approves, current Carter approves, and I'm sure future Carter will too.
I'm sure there are certain audio setups where I could benefit from a much richer experience without sacrificing the neutral sound profile. But something about experiencing your video exactly as a viewer will makes the entire creation process feel more authentic.
On this channel, I document my creative lifestyle, and if that's something you want to follow along for, feel free to subscribe, and thank you for watching.